it takes almost 4 years to become a successful YouTuber. If even, it might take longer. I've known people that have been at this for longer than I have, and they still haven't succeeded at, even getting 10,000 subscribers and stuff like that. And it's brutal. And I feel really bad for them, because it's just like, I don't know what to tell you. And I mean, honestly, most of them totally understand it's not an easy thing to get into. But, like, I'm afraid that some 16-year-old out there is going to see, like, my success story and everybody else's success stories and be like, I'm not going to go to college. I'm just going to sit around and I'm going to be, I want to be a famous YouTuber. And I'm just like, oh no. Like, you need that. You need that education. Because, who knows if YouTube's going to last after a certain point. And who knows what it's going to be in 20 years. Like, eventually it could be all just like, corporate, not corporate goons, but, like, only people that are, like, put into kind of position because they work for the company. And kind of like these multimedia companies instead. Okay, bullet jump and spam void dash makes you fly. Huh, that's good to know. And Shakira's going to bed. Yeah, that's fair. Let's do one more bounty and then I'll probably stop too. Find the hidden artifact. It should be fine. I'm gonna grab my Astela though. I don't think my Atomos has quite the damage for this. Yeah, corporate sanctioned YouTubers. I don't even know how it would go. But the idea of a 16-year-old eschewing a proper education so that they could become a YouTube star is really scary. People can make it work. I know people that have made it work. I know there's a kid that got really, really famous for Fortnite a little while back because some bigger streamer decided to host him and, hang out with him and stuff like that. And that was really cool. And then he got swatted and might have quit, which sucks. Because people are scum. Oh yeah, you can fly with that. Maybe get some more energy or something ish. Yeah. Okay, that actually does look really cool. And work fairly well. But like, I know for a fact where are you? I know for a fact I wouldn't be where I am in life in this career if it weren't for, getting a professional education as an artist. Because college can suck. College can be really bad. It can be totally awful for you in your future and totally screw you up and stuff like that. It also can be, like, absolutely necessary, and it kind of varies on which ones are, like, good. Obviously, like, choose wisely. Kill the Furbolg? Nah, Furbolg's too tough. Choose wisely on what colleges you go to, obviously. But like, for me, I went to college, well... Oh, no, there's still people in there. I'm trying to farm my things, but whenever I do the, Tentaball, usually gets exploded first. Oh, well. The road to becoming Tentaman is a long and arduous one. I don't know, anyway. Did he just land on my face? He just landed on my face. But so for me, going to college, I mean, obviously taught me my art skills so I could actually make nice thumbnails and, stuff like that, which has helped a lot. I'd love to go back to making custom thumbnails and stuff like that. But the other thing that I learned while I was in college was a work ethic, which is something that, like, I feel like high school never teaches you. because you don't give a shit about, like, what you're doing. I mean, some people do. My brother absolutely cared about what he was doing in high school. And that, you know, good for him. He was going into sciences. I, like, kind of wanted to go into art. Because, I had a vague idea I wanted to be a webcomic artist. Still do to some degree, but I also know that, like, I'd rather just go into writing or something. Or indie games. But when I hit college, the first year I was kind of just idle about it. But I started to learn that, like, if you work hard, you feel good about yourself. And so I just worked my ass off instead of playing video games all the time. I also had a lot of friends that played, like, too many video games. And, like, wrecked their futures. Like, they played too much. And, dropped out. Like, I had one guy next to me. He didn't play video games. He watched movies. He watched, the college I went to had a massive piracy network. At least at the time. I don't know if it still is, and I can't comment if you know what college I'm at, or was at. Time to create the Old Man Wander webcomic. Har. I actually would like to work on the Old Man Wander series, that, like, stupid, totally inaccurate history of the future series. I just haven't had time for it, because I've got, like, a billion other things to write about. But so, ultimately what happened was, I started working really hard, and it just kind of taught me that, yeah, it's better to slack off kind of later when you actually have time for it, as opposed to slacking off early and then doing everything last minute. I'd still do it, but, you know, I'd work my butt off in the process. And so it's kind of put me in a position where I can stream for, I guess I've only been going for 5 hours tonight. I went for 8.5 yesterday, which, maybe is a bit too much. I was pretty tired by the time we were done, but I completed a whole game, which is nice. Yeah, only. I don't know. I've done longer. I've done 24-hour streams. But that was also back when I was I didn't stream as much. And I wasn't as responsible with my sleep schedule. Oh, hey, mining spot. Wait, that's the scanner. Whoops. Grab the scanner, you dingus. Scanner. There we go. Or not the scanner, the mining tool. Damn it. There we go. There's a lot of endo from this, which is kind of nice. Your idea of good work ethic is called working too much. Very true. But, like, I will absolutely say that's part of the reason why I don't want some kid seeing me as, like, a role model. Because I feel like they will get some pretty unhealthy habits. But that's kind of what I had to do to become what I am. And I only ever want anybody to do that because they absolutely, like, knew what they were getting into. And have a backup plan. Always have a backup plan. You never want to go all in on anything. I think I learned that actually from The Pursuit of Happiness. The Will Smith movie. The guy, like, went really far in on some kind of, like, it was like a pyramid scheme, effectively. It's like, we'll buy, like, 1 billion of these machines and then sell them at a higher cost. And then effectively goes broke as a result. And it sucks. And that's over. Well, that was fast. And watching that movie for me was kind of like a wake-up call, because it's just like, oh, yeah, this is not something you want to... This is not something you want to just do, generally. Just go all in on anything and just be like, yeah, I don't have anything else I can do, and if I screw this up, I'm doomed.
Well, there's people like me, that's the truth.
And for poor Shell, she went she went for art, like me, and her wrist is messed up. And she hasn't been able to paint nearly as much as she'd like to. And as a result has been kind of just, you know, bumming around, feeling kind of frustrated and impotent. And it sucks. It's not a good feeling to not be able to do what you want. That happened to me when I was, oh. Ghouls. What the hell's going on? Oh! Huh. There's a pair of tusks perfectly stacked here. I've never seen that. Can I get in this one? I don't know if I can get in this one. Oh, there I can go. Whee! This thing, it does crap damage. Maybe it's also my inability to hit anything. It does have a lot of HP, though. It'd be nice if it kind of just came back slowly. Is that disco ball hurting this thing? I think it might actually be. I could be wrong. But yeah, so YouTubing was my backup plan when my art career failed. And by the time that I realized that my art career was, you know, never going to make a recovery, it didn't matter anymore. Backup plans are nice. And now my current backup plan is panic and savings. Now that I've become an adult, I've become way stingier. Maybe not way stingier, but I've become a fair bit stingier because I'm like, if I just don't spend money on anything apart from, like, kind of what I need, I don't have to worry about going broke when everything dies. You know, when YouTube finally shits the bed, or I find out that, like, I can't pivot over to being a Twitch streamer full-time and stuff like that. Then also practicing writing. Maybe I'll do game design. Keep saying I want to do game design. It's time-consuming. Hey, what is up, Wander? I am tired. But it's getting late at night. Northern Lion is talking a ton about he's learning to be a programmer and going to school for it. I didn't know that Northern Lion was looking into doing programming. That's probably not a bad semi-retirement plan from YouTube. He did say that he'd probably be doing YouTube until the day he dies. So he's probably just going to work on hobby projects and fun stuff. Oh, we're looking for the caches. I should probably actually pay attention to this, considering I'm standing next to one. Oh, he's going to school for it, like, right now. I assume it's part-time, though. Well, I don't know. His schedule might be, lax enough. Oh, yeah, there's another one. His schedule might actually be lax enough that he could maybe fit it in. Huh. But yeah, programming is usually a pretty good backup plan for, like, anybody. Or main plan, or anything. My brother, who is a... I would say... really, like... really high-class scientist. Based on, like, you know, his program and what he's up to and stuff like that. Scientist. He got into programming. And he almost never does anything, like, particularly sciencey anymore. He just programs the programs to, do it for him. And he said it's a very weird feeling, effectively, rendering himself obsolete with every, like, bit of research he does. But obviously, like, somebody has to make those programs, so it's not, like, fully obsolete. But I was surprised to hear him talking to my dad about, like, just coding stuff left and right, and I was just like, huh. I feel left out. I actually really wish I had learned how to code earlier in life, because I went to a high school that didn't believe in anything apart from kind of the bare minimum of courses, so science, math, English, and history. There was a psychology course that you could take, and it was very bare bones. There was a Photoshop class that I taught when I was taking it, and then when I wasn't taking it, it just turned into fuck around on the internet time. And the teacher retired or whatever, and then was replaced with a new guy who didn't know a thing about computers, apparently, because it only got worse from there. And then they had one programming class that apparently not enough people took, so they canceled it. Which screwed me over, because I was going to go into the AP, like the high-tier AP math course. Well, like I was going to take it as a replacement for an AP math course. and could have qualified for the highest tier AP Math. But I was like, no, I'm going to take programming instead because, you know, it's my senior year and it could be a good idea and stuff like that. And then I get to school for my senior year and they're like, by the way, we canceled that, so you have to redo your entire schedule. And so I got shoved into all of the, like, sub-prime classes instead. I was really pissed about that. It is night. Unfortunately, it is also probably quitting time for me. I'd like to do more. Maybe, I'll probably play more in like a day or two. Maybe. God, I gotta figure my schedule out. I think I'm going to San Francisco on Monday. And like, I'm afraid to commit to anything past this point. I don't like traveling for business. I almost never do it. This is fun though. Yeah, sometimes you hear Shell using the microwave in the background. Yep. Can't do much about that. Unfortunately, so when I moved here originally, it was what, year and a half ago now. This is the first apartment I've ever bought on my own. Rented on my own. And it was kind of a shot in the dark. Prior to us moving out, it was like Shell, Keith, and myself were all trying to find like it's a survival mission. All right, sure, why not? But Shell, Keith, and myself were all doing we're apartment hunting together, and oh shoot, these guys are kind of tough. I might be in trouble here. But so we were all looking for an apartment together. Not a big deal. And eventually, kind of, we stopped looking as a group because I wanted to move to somewhere really cheap with Google Fiber, and I think it just kind of became apparent that like getting like a group apartment was going to be a problem. So eventually, Shell and I decided to just get an apartment in Kansas because they've got Google Fiber, which is like, okay, if you've ever had like kind of shitty internet, and then got like good internet, you'll kind of know the feeling. I went from like 2 megabytes a second to like just pure gigabit, and it is fabulous living with this kind of internet. I don't think I can ever go back. But for us, we spent about 3 months looking for apartments online, you know, just trying to find a new place to move while living out of my parents' basement. Fun times. But we just looked this place up online. We didn't even look this place up online. We found the sister apartment complex. Not too much. There's plenty of sister apartment complexes. We just found like a sister apartment complex, and they're like, yeah, we're full. We don't have any more apartments for like months, and we're like, and they're like, but we know we have like a sister complex, like, you know, half a town away. You can totally just move in there. They're like a little bit more expensive. I'm just like, I don't care. And so we just drove across the country. We'd never even been to the apartments before. And it was just like pure shot in the dark. But we got a single bedroom apartment because this was back before I even hit 50,000 subscribers. I'd never, you know, even considered that I'd be able to like do this off of my own income or whatever from YouTube. But hey, here we are. But more or less, as soon as we hopped in the car to get here, my channel skyrocketed. As far as like growth rate goes, I think several of my scrap mechanic videos and my Fallout videos started to do really, really well. And like they had already been doing well up until this point, but they like doubled. And then some. Oh, I really like this song. I like everything by this guy. I think this is an Armored Core remix. But oh, do I have my Atomos? No. I got my Stug. I don't even know if the Stug's any good. Probably shouldn't switch to it, though. It's pretty garbage. Ooh. Oh, I really am just firing goo, aren't I? I mean, just like little blobules and stuff like that. But yeah, so this is like well before I even thought my channel would do well. I was just kind of like, well, I've got like a ton of savings, so if like it goes back down and I'm not getting that much money, I'll be fine. I can just live off the savings. My channel like doubled overnight practically. I think within like 2 weeks of us moving here, I gained like, hey, high noon. I think actually high noon is fairly common. It's the it's whatever the heavy blade one that's ridiculous. Goo. How do you like goo? Yeah, that's terrible. I could switch to the pistol thing, but whatever. But so, yeah, I wasn't really expecting to do as well as I did, which means I was really frugal about like purchasing decisions. You know, I splurged and got some like okay office chairs, which turned out to be a mistake. You want good office chairs if you're going to be sitting in them day in, day out. We got a smaller than usual bed. We got a 1-bedroom apartment when really we needed a 2-bedroom so I could have an office, because right now I'm about 5 feet from the kitchen, so whenever the microwave gets used, oh, everybody can hear it. And it is weird to have my only regrets be I didn't spend enough money in life or on a thing. Because my parents have always been like the cheapest people ever. I mean, okay, no, they're cheaper people than my parents. But, you know, they're always just like, you don't need that, or like, here's the really cheap knockoff brand, because, you know, why spend money on something that you can get the cheap version of? Oh, this is gonna kill me, isn't it? Oh, I hate these things. And I'm dead. Ooh. Oh, there's a secondary fire for the stug. I didn't even realize it. I think the stug is bad, but you can make faces with it. Har. Let's see. But yeah, so my parents are always, like, advocating, like, extreme, financial, like, you know, just being super Scroogey. Maybe not Scroogey, but, like, super stingy. And then, like, you know, realizing it kind of screwed me over is a weird feeling. Because, you know, like, growing up, becoming an adult, you know, your parents generally can do no wrong, or, like, they know everything, or whatever. And I, like, hit adulthood, and I'm like, they still know a hell of a lot more than I do. But, maybe they're not always right. Okay, anyway, let's make some faces with this stug. Oh, nope, that's my Glaxion. You really can't make faces with it. Oh, that's unfortunate. I was really hoping I could make some more faces with this. Oh, dang it. Every time I sit down to do the Banshee thing, I might die from this again. Come on! I hate poison. I kind of wish toxin damage couldn't kill you. Like, I know why it can, but it would be kind of nice if it didn't. Like, something had to do the finishing blow. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it to nightfall. I can feel my, like, lips chapping. It's been really dry. See, Wander, what is your favorite game to date? Jeez, that is a rough question to ask. I mean, as far as sheer time investment goes, you know, I could actually check that right now. What is the game that I've played the most of? By pure playtime, the game that I've sunk the most amount of time into is whenever Steam loads. Warframe. By about 100 hours. So clearly this game. Oh, Pyro's down again. We still have 2 minutes left. Huh. It felt like 10 minutes wasn't going to be too long, but it feels like ages. Oh, right, because we've already done this one. That's why. I don't know, actually. Hollow Knight was damn good. Unfortunately, I can't beat the DLC because it's hard. And I got out of practice. It's one of those games where it's like, the DLC comes out and it's like, here's the new harder levels, and you're like, I'm not good enough for these. And so I'm never gonna finish it. Anyway. I really liked Dragon Quest Builders, but there was a lot wrong with it. Like, it needed a more, like, cohesive storyline, because it kept kind of resetting you every chapter, and it sucked. Wander didn't beat the DLC of Hollow Souls? No! God damn, it's hard. It's like going from Dark Souls 2 to Bloodborne. But like, endgame Bloodborne. It's like Dark Souls 2 to endgame Bloodborne. And you haven't played for months, which sucks. I'm trying to think of actually good examples of games that I like loved. Chroma Squad was awesome. I will always tout Chroma Squad. Probably not, you know, my favorite game, just because I think it might be impossible for me to have a favorite game. I play too many of them. Because, you know, normally when you only play like one game, it's really easy to have like a favorite game because it's just like, whatever. You know, this is super obvious, but now I just play so much that every game just kind of becomes, sort of the same. I mean, it's not sort of the same. Every game kind of blends together, and after a while, like, none of them stand out. And it's a problem. Yeah, I really liked Chroma Squad because it was goofy. It's a game that I was really hyped about. Start to finish. I'm trying to think of games that I've, like, beat within the first week of them coming out. I liked Xenoblade enough, but it kind of dragged on. It was a little bit, it was a little anime for me. I don't know. I don't know. I think I might also be too much of a critic to enjoy games enough to have, like, a favorite, which sucks. Because, like, every game I ever play, I can see something that I'd like changed. And it makes it very difficult for me to say, yes, that is my favorite then. Persona 5. I don't like Persona 5 that, like, as much as I think a lot of other people did. It was too long for me to fully enjoy it. Because, so, one problem I have with a lot of RPGs, especially, is they last longer than their mechanics. So, for Persona 5, for example, you pretty much didn't change too much except for what monster you had as your, like, persona for, like, the entire game. Like, I think they switched in, like, a couple of mechanics towards the midpoint. But otherwise, it was, like, 100 hours of kind of the same. And, like, after a while, I just started checking out on the combat because it's just, like, it's not even interesting anymore. I mean, weirdly enough, as far as games that, like, I will go back to no matter what, Factorio. Which is hideous, but, like, as far as games that I've played before and done series on before, Factorio is the one that I want to play again. Because I really, really like Factorio. What is my most hated game? That's an interesting question. Squirreltopia was terrible. That's probably the game I hated the most that I recorded a video on. It never hit YouTube because the guy I was recording with, I was at his apartment and he didn't connect his microphone. Maybe Mass Effect Andromeda. I really didn't like Mass Effect Andromeda. Like, I liked the idea of it, and I liked the first couple hours of it, and then when I realized that that's all it was, I was just like, ooh, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And no one did. I liked what they were doing with it. A lot of the movement and, like, the world exploration wasn't bad, but then it just didn't feel right. Like, it felt like they were trying to make, oh, I know what I was gonna do. I want to see the clan hall before I go. Yes, I will do. I also gotta get rid of the cyst, because I hate the cyst. Oh, is it because I'm in a group? Or, no, I have to wait for the cyst to be fully grown. That's stupid. What's the most hated game I've had a series on? I mean, most recently I had iconoclasts. Here, I'm gonna leave the group just so I don't bring everybody along to the clan hall. Iconoclast most recently, I didn't hate it, but I think that had the most crushing ending I've run into for a while. Cause ooh. I like the change to Wanderbot colors in here. Unfortunately, I kind of wish we could change the, like, floor color to, like, a black or something. The kind of gray. Looks a little odd. But, I liked Iconoclast. I loved Iconoclast. It was fun. But I think I really should not have stayed up that late. Because I stayed up late to finish it, and that was just such a mistake. Because by the time I got to the Wizard of Oz, I was just like, no! None of this is what I wanted. But that's what I get for having expectation, hopes for a game. I need to go into every game without any expectations. And I almost always feel better. Okay, let's get the detonite injector. Yeah, I can just make a ton of these. It will be a lot easier if I just make them. What do I think about Guild Wars 2? I really like Guild Wars 2. I wish it was easier to solo. Like, adventuring around in the world of Guild Wars 2 is frustrating for me. I'm sure a lot of people can, like, find it really enjoyable, but for me, I should probably actually get the research for Comac, Twin Comac. Like, generally I learned don't go into games with expectations after Starbound. Which, I mean, turns out I actually rather like Starbound, but it took years for that game to be good. Let's see. Is there anything else I should be looking for specifically? Or is this just the change? Because I really like this change. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything else. Let's see, what is this? Oh, colors. Polychrome. Ooh. Yeah, that looks really nice. Took mods for Starbound to be good. The base wasn't so bad. Yeah, I really wish you could change the grays on the floor and stuff. I'm kind of shocked that you can't. You know what game actually kind of shocked me that it's been improving? I'm actually really impressed with No Man's Sky that they're at least trying. This is a weird flight. I've never actually seen that flight animation before. I guess there's unarmed flight, which is really weird. Like, I'm actually kind of surprised that they've sort of managed to pull No Man's Sky out of the hole. It's still awful. Like, No Man's Sky is kind of unacceptably bare for what it is. But it could have been much worse, honestly. I'm just glad they decided to update it all. If they had... imagine if they hadn't. If they just left it like that. That would have been atrocious. I wonder if you can color the elevator. You probably can't. Oh my god. The banners are just super ego. Oh my god. This is stupid looking. Hello, welcome to the Hall of Wander. Did you know that this clan is owned by Wanderbot? Did you now? You better. It's obvious. It should be obvious. Wow, that is Goofy shit. Wait a second. The one thing I don't like about the clan hall is you can't actually see the rest of the clan hall. I don't know how many of you guys saw my Tower of Guns series, but one thing I really liked about it is if you got knocked out of the level, you could see the rest of the level as this kind of weird superstructure. It didn't look good, but it was kind of fun. And I wish you could actually see the rest of the clan hall kind of extending off into the universe. That's actually something that like Dark Souls did really, really well. The first one. It was like, yeah, that's the rest of the level. You see a walking path, you could probably go there. Surprised by Terraria. They've had 6 final updates and everything. Time you thought they were done, they did another and kept going. Yeah, Terraria is really well done. I think my only problem with Terraria is the base game mechanics aren't enough to support what the game became. Because I actually really liked Terraria until they added hard mode. When they added hard mode, I actually kind of stopped enjoying the game so much because it was less about digging and exploring and much more about boss rushing, which kind of was rough for me. Because, like, I would love to see Terraria played with, like, Hollow Knight's controls. Hard or expert? Hard mode. After the Wall of Flesh. Everything after the Wall of Flesh disappointed me. Not because they were bad, but just because, like, that's not the kind of game... Like, if it played like Dungreed, I think I'd be okay with it. Like, I like the idea of the boss rushing style. I think that's good. But the base gameplay of just jumping, running, and like either shooting or swinging a sword feels really awkward to me. Which is why I bring up Dungreed, because that's a roguelike I've been playing recently. That actually plays not too far off of what Terraria is, but it feels so much smoother and so much more interesting. And like functional for like an action combat game. I'm just running around the clan hall uselessly at this point. And so, like, I wish Terraria kind of had the same effect. Or, combat style. And so I'm hoping Otherworld or 2 or whatever they're working on next addresses the issue. So it's a better movement system. Because I always felt, like, sluggish and painful in Terraria and not a fun way. Let's see, if I tried the Thorium mod for Terraria. I haven't. Part of the problem is we kept trying to do Terraria series and beat the base game first. And every time that I tried playing Terraria, the series would end because run out of time or something like that. Or most recently, the entire friend group disintegrated. And the interest in playing it again thought, oh, I do have energy restore pads. I gotta make more of these, honestly. Okay, do we have anything else I want to do today? Not really. Well, that's okay. We'll do more next time.